NetCredit is here to say yes to a personal loan or line of credit when other lenders say no. Apply in minutes and get a decision as soon as the same day. Loans offered by NetCredit or lending partner banks and serviced by NetCredit. Application subject to review and approval. Learn more at netcredit.com/partner. NetCredit. Credit to the people.
T-Mobile 5G internet keeps getting better. Boost your connection to harder-to-reach places with Home Internet Plus and get internet right where you want it.
With Wi-Fi that reaches the attic, I finally have a home office.
Get a free upgrade to T-Mobile Home Internet Plus while supplies last. Home Internet Plus starts at $50 a month with autopay and any voice line. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
During congestion, customers on this plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using greater than 1.2 terabytes per month due to data prioritization. After $20 bill credit plus $5 per month without autopay. Debit or bank account required. Regulatory fees included for qualifying accounts. $35 connection charge applies.
Ask me. Ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them. We'll read them. Then we'll give you answers. You know it. I've got it. I've got the answer. The answer. You ask me. I'll tell you anything. I'll tell you what, these Olympics are making me feel bad about myself.
I see that constant joke that people have about how there should be one regular person in the Olympics, and I agree because it's hard to know how good these people are when they're all doing incredible things.
See, but then that joke makes me feel good about myself because I'm like, I love that I'm an original person who has original thoughts and I don't just repost other people's ideas and pretend it was my own meme. Like that joke exemplifies how lazy and what a commodification comedy is on the internet. You're like, oh, I bet I could do it better. Oh, look, I had 1,500 views on this. I'm a comedy god. But for scale, it is a good idea. Just to show you, I did see a video where it was it said it was an Olympic swimmer versus like good swimmers. And they gave them like a full pool length start and he still beat them.
Right. That's always so fascinating. Or that swimmer who swam with the glass of chocolate milk on her head. I was like, oh, this I understand. This I know is impressive.
Because it's milk.
There's
I love
chocolate
milk and I love chocolate because there's sweets. I also think a lot of these things, you're watching it, you don't really have, it's like looking at art. Like if you don't have a context or an education, you're like, what they're doing looks hard and impressive, but like you don't understand the technicality. Like I don't know what a half pipe twist is supposed to look like. And so you're just watching, you're like, that looks crazy. But like, it's only when you're a true, I guess, student of it that you could really understand. And I think that's for anything, any sport.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
You can't really. Like if everyone dunks, how do you appreciate the best dunk?
Right. I think especially, it's like baseball. I'm like, yeah, I could do that. And then I go out and I try to play baseball. I'm like, I'm so tired. I got to run around all the bases.
Have you ever tried to throw a baseball between like two major league areas, like between like the mound and the home plate?
Could never get it that far.
God. It's 8 miles. That is standard MLB 8 miles. But also, like, you just watch it and you're just like, oh, any part of me that I thought was athletic or, like, muscularly defined is garbage. Garbage.
I have a comedy question for you about the Olympics. Do you think it's funny or hack everybody talking about that guy's dick in the pole vaulting? I think it's kind of just funny because it's just so, like...
It is funny.
Because it's like...
When do you see that?
Right, you've lost. Like, that sucks. But also, it's just such a... You're going to be more known for that. It's like somebody who wins America's Next Top Model actually never had that great of a career. It was people who came in third or fourth who would go on to have a pretty decent career. You know what I mean? Like, he'll have a better career now.
Only some of us win reality shows and go on to have a podcast. A career in what? Like dick smashing? I do think it's kind of like that is a sport where you win by like thousandths of inches because you're putting your whole body, you are vaulting, some would say, your whole body over that bar. And so he should have tucked it. What we got to do, if he wants a real masterclass in tucking, you got to get some drag queens in there. They would tuck it so tight. Sissy, that pole vaulting routine. Tuck up that meat.
Oh, I don't like the word meat being used.
Tuck it in. Tuck in that athletic meat. You knew what you were doing. Maybe maybe he knew he was going to botch it all along. Because even his hands, he's like, whatever, my dick is so big.
But that sucks. I can't imagine your whole life. You could only do this once every 4 years. You have to be like, it's so elite of the elite. And then it's just, I mean, sorry, bud.
I don't even know what team he was on.
I don't either.
That's how, I want to say Sweden. All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Are you ready to fight?
I'm always ready to fight.
Fight me. Employers should not prioritize time off requests for parents versus childless people in the workplace. Oh, I'm nervous.
I'm curious about your take on this, Iliza, because I'm on the receiving end of this, but you have actual children.
I do. Some would say I have 2.
At least.
Yeah.
I don't know if you faced this when you were in a corporate job. That was it. I mean, that's pretty.
Sorry. I'm sitting here like waiting to hear the rest of it. That's why I was saying nothing. I was like, let her talk. Don't talk over her. It makes for bad audio.
That was the full fight me. And I'm curious about your take because we're on two opposite sides of the spectrum on this.
Of many spectrums, Emily. Opposite sides of many spectrums. No, it should not. It is not. Personal time off should be a first come, first serve seniority basis. Your reason for taking, like, yes, it takes a village, and yes, raising children is a very hard thing, but how are you going to compare, like, me taking time off because my child is sick versus you need time off to go help your ailing mother move out of a building or something? Like, this is not a judicial system. You're comparing apples to oranges. I know you're supposed to say apples to apples, but apples to oranges. So it should be based on frequency, seniority. You shouldn't even have to put the reason. That's the truth. Just like when you apply for a job, like you shouldn't even have your name. That way they can't judge gender. They can't judge color. You're just like, my name is candidate B2A and here's my info.
It's tough.
When we did my sketch show, I read all the sketches blind. I didn't want to know who was submitting them. I wanted it to be merit-based. So that's what I think.
Well, in terms of time off, it's like, yes, like you need to take time off when you can get a cover, when, you don't have a big project on the line. But it definitely is, I've noticed in corporations throughout my career. Obviously, this wasn't a problem with you because I was your one employee.
True.
But throughout my career where it's like, oh, this person has to go pick up their kid. Oh, this person has their kids on spring break. Oh, this person, where it's like, oh, could you cover? Because you don't really have anything to do. It's like, well, I want to take a day off and go stare at the wall. So, and that's my day off.
I don't know. I guess it depends on the type of company. Like, should I be able to take a day off if like I got everything done yesterday and I'm just waiting on something that's going to take 72 hours? This idea, like you should be able to take time off whenever you need it as long as you can get your work done. So if I can still get this thing in, but I have to leave 2 hours to go pick up my child who is having an appendectomy, we should make that easier. We also make having children and a job incredibly hard in this country. We're going to force you to have kids and then we're going to make it impossible to take care of them. So it should not fall on the shoulders of someone simply because they don't have kids. But we should definitely make it easier for people to get the shit done that they need to get done. Nobody is productive. What's a work day? 15 hours? Nobody's productive the entire time you're at work.
Right.
But no, it shouldn't be my reason's better than yours. It should be like, did you put in the request? Do you have the ability? Is this too much of a burden on your team? That's it.
I think the two sides that lead to the fighting are the side, which is kind of my feeling, which is people that take a smoke break. It's like, oh, should I pretend I have a kid just so I get more arbitrary time off, just like people have a smoke break? And then the opposite end of the spectrum from that is,
where are you
working
that there's a smoke break?
I mean, there
you
isn't
work at a factory?
No, but it's, you know what I mean? Like it used to be like those people get an extra 15 minutes every however long because they're smoking.
Is that true? Or is it just
it's
called
not
a smoke
anymore,
break? Because you're like,
but
instead of eating, instead of nurturing my body, I'm going to go pump in a cigarette.
It was in addition to.
Yeah, people need a break because they have an addiction, but also this idea that like, because I took 15 minutes. I mean, if you're working on like a factory line or like answering phones, I get that that's like lost revenue, but like you're in an office, go take a fucking smoke break. Like whatever makes you work faster. I think people need to stop being obsessed with squeezing every quote unquote productive molecule out of their employees.
Yeah.
That's
I just always think about, should I go into my job and say, I have a husband and we have a child, so that whenever I want time off, I can just be like, oh, it's a family emergency, gotta go. Instead of like, my cat's looking at me weird. Can I talk to you guys later?
No, because you're just making it hard for them to fire you. Like if you are, we've had people write in, by the way, who are like, I don't know what to do. I have this employee who like, or this coworker who's always taking time off. Like, give them a little bit of a break, but it's the same break you would expect if you were dealing with a family member. But like, nobody gets to keep their job if they're leaving every day for their kid. At that point, you're like, you should have planned this better, but you also don't know. I feel like everything I'm saying, you're disagreeing with me. And I'm saying, let's treat these on a hierarchical basis. Or have you been here longer? Did you put in the request? Okay.
Yes, I think that the problem comes from you're just beyond that, and you're like, yeah, corporations just shouldn't nickel and dime your time off, which is an admirable place to be at, but not necessarily the case. I think I'll be interested to see what your listeners have to say to this, because I think there is a feeling of I'm
not interested in that. I think there is this not militarization, but there is a knee-jerk offensiveness when people don't have kids. They're like, well, I don't have kids. There is an anger there about having to defend it. And the reason you see people, and I've said this before, who don't have kids posting endlessly about their choices, posting about why it's great, posting about why their time matters, is only because they've had to explain themselves for so long. The norm is you get married, you have kids, and that's what you do. And any woman who steps outside of that has had to forever defend to people why I don't, why it's okay. Maybe it wasn't my choice, but this is what I'm doing. And so I think people without kids tend to get offensively defense, meaning like they come out swinging and you're like, yeah, I don't care. So my heart breaks because you're not allowed to just live your life. And then you have to explain to strangers like why I'm in this situation, why I've chosen it, why it's a preference. So I always take it with a grain of salt when people are like, we have income and we don't want kids. And you're just like, okay, that's fine. Like it is a lady doth thing. My question is, are you getting the job done that I paid you to do? Yes, then I don't fucking care.
Yeah, it's fair.
That's me. I don't know where my assistant is right now.
Yeah, but she's getting it done.
I think she's at like her 15th bachelorette party of the year. Yes, she's getting it done. And I like to think that she's a little nervous at all times because I'm going to email her. And that is the price you pay for having a remote job.
That's a trade-off.
So enjoy that. My tie, Danielle, because I'm emailing you at 2 a.m.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. I know being thankful is on everyone's minds, and with thankfulness comes gratitude, a concept that honestly really bothers me. I'm tired of thanking everyone else. You know who deserves a thank you? Me. You deserve a thank you. When's the last time you thanked yourself? Sometimes it's hard to remind ourselves that we are doing the absolute best we can. So here I am reminding you to send some thanks to the people in your life, but mostly send some thanks to yourself. And a great way to do that is with therapy. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and it's suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time, no additional charge. You don't have to travel anywhere. They take the hassle out of finding that perfect therapist. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Iliza today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Iliza. Fall has fallen. Winter is on its way. The days are shorter. But just because, they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner, anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet. That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Eliza50 and use code Eliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Eliza50 at factormeals.com/Eliza50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat. That's one of those, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Eliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Eliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Eliza.
Okay, we're leading into a question that's kind of in the same vein from another side. So, hello, Eliza and Emily and the crew. I've been a fan of Eliza's for a while, but only recently started listening to the pod, and I love it. I've been catching up on older episodes. It's so great. I'd love both of your input on an ethical situation I may be facing.
I want to know what took you so long. Because I've had a podcast, not even in this iteration, for so long.
I know.
Why didn't you connect the dots?
We're just now, look, these videos are working where we show 30 seconds of your face and people go, oh, it's Eliza talking in the podcast called Ask Eliza Anything. Okay.
I thought that was Cindy Lou Who without makeup on. It's Eliza. Here I am. Welcome to the party. Have a seat.
I'm a 40-year-old female that recently finished my master's degree and transitioned from being a stay-at-home mom to an 11-year-old and a 2.5-year-old to working a great job at a prestigious Midwest university. I was so worried about saying prestigious right. I said Midwest wrong.
Midwest. That I botched the easiest word in the sentence. Of course, she has a master's. She's one of our fans. Go on.
Right. Around the same time that I started this new job, my husband lost his job. Our 2-year-old is now in daycare because I'm working full-time and handling all of the bills and living expenses. Plus, $200 a week for childcare is almost impossible on my modest salary, and I've been freaking out about it. Turns out
$200? That's it? I got to move to the Midwest. Is it just a scarecrow watching your kids?
They're just all putting a pen together, and the biggest one watches the littler ones.
Oh my God.
Turns out that my workplace was offering childcare assistance to those that qualify, so I immediately applied. The requirements.
Wait, who doesn't qualify? Like, do you have a kid? That should be it. Like, what's the qualification beyond that?
The requirements of the scholarship are that you are spending 12% or more of your household income on childcare. When I submitted the application, we met this criteria. So $200 was 12% or more of income for childcare.
Wow.
However, my husband has been offered a new position and will be starting in a couple of weeks. This will put us out of the window of being eligible, but I've already submitted all of the paperwork needed for this assistance. We will be struggling for at least a year to catch up on debt while we settle into finally having two incomes, and honestly could really use the extra help with childcare expenses. It's not entirely ethical, but I'm really leaning towards accepting money if it is awarded to me. What would Eliza and Emily do? Now, for context.
Do it. Don't care. Don't need it. Do it.
Well, I think
it should not be this hard. Oh, for context, what?
My salary is $54,000 per year. That's for a family of four.
And you're a teacher. You have a master's degree at a university.
And my husband will be making about the same amount in his new position. So their salary is about to double, but it's so $108,000 pre-tax for a family of four.
No.
This childcare assistance would be awarded in a lump sum of about $5,000 to cover 50% of childcare costs for 1 year. As a reminder, this is assistance from my employer and not government assistance, which may or may not make a difference in one's opinion. I will find out at the end of August if I've been awarded the money. Thank you for your input. Sincerely, Anonymous.
Take the money. Make it. Wasn't clear if you were a teacher. Yeah. We make it way too hard for teachers to survive. It would be different if you're like, I'm starting up my own sticker business. Like, I'd be like, I don't know. Art is not guaranteed. You are doing God's work by being a teacher. Take it and run. It's none of their business what your husband makes. And it's not unethical because it isn't like your husband is making several $100,000 a year. And you will still be behind for a while. Take it. It will make you do your job better. That school is making so much money. Take it.
And it's like maybe they will wind up asking for updated info and then not give it to you. But if they give it to you, take it. I think that there's a real missing link in terms of people that make just enough to not qualify. Like, oh, I make $55,000 instead of $54,000. I could totally survive on that. You can't. I mean, it's tough. I was fine, but in a very small way. Like, I'm a twin. And so my sister and I applied for college at the same time. And so my parents' income for each one looked like, oh, this one person can afford college. They don't factor in, we're paying for 2 colleges at once. So I went to a cheap state school. I got multiple scholarships. So I think this sucks, and you should take what you can get from your job. That's awful.
I get it. I mean, I make millions, but not enough millions to qualify for one of these conservative tax breaks. So I get it. We're in the same boat. Oh, same boat. Take it, run, never feel bad. It's not like you're lying. And when you did apply for it, you needed it, and you still do need it. And I get that the cutoff has to be somewhere, but never feel bad about taking money from a large business. And this isn't like, oh, if everyone did it, they wouldn't have it. They have plenty. They're fine.
It's $5,000 for a year. It should be just part of your benefits. It should be part of your benefits package to get childcare at the college. That's insane. The childcare drives me nuts.
Yeah, for sure. The childcare, I mean, relative to everything, is already so inexpensive. There's no reason they shouldn't be covering this, and it enables you to do your job better, grade papers quicker.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that every single job should cover everyone's childcare. It is a choice,
right?
At least in most states, to have a child. But this thing where it's like you had this kid and now life is even harder. It's just, well, how are we going to have a human race if you make it impossible for people to exist with children,
right?
And penalize them.
It's why, as someone, I'm not going to have children, but I don't mind my taxes going to schools and stuff because I want a world that's not full of dummies.
Well, that's exactly right. That's why I vote for public schools in my area. My kid may not go to those, but I want us to produce intelligent people who are well educated.
Yeah.
No matter how much LAUSD bleeds us dry.
Yeah. Okay. We have another question from the man with the crazy lady at Lowe's who wanted him to get her a cart. Do you remember this? They got into a screaming match in the Lowe's because she's like, just go get me a cart. And he's like, I don't work here.
Yeah, for those of you that don't remember, it was a woman with her husband who just started yelling at the guy writing in about getting her a cart. And he's like, I don't work here, like Emily said. Yeah. And we were like, she seems unhinged. Okay. Yeah. This is an update? Delicious.
So, no, this is another story, but I feel like this person leads a life with these kinds of quandaries. So, I'm back with another story. Please tell me, am I being reasonable? Someone told me I'm being entitled, but I don't think so. I booked a vacation package, flight plus resort hotel through JetBlue. Less than 24 hours later, the price was slightly cheaper and a different promo code available that brought the total cost down by about $208 for the exact same booking. I called JetBlue and they refused to give any refund more than $8, stating that the majority of the reduced price doesn't qualify because it's a new promo code. Understood, but again, I booked less than 24 hours prior. Considering this and the fact that I have their credit card and spend thousands a year on their flights and vacations, I felt it was reasonable to ask for a one-time exception to get a refund or at least travel points of equal value. When the frontline rep couldn't help accomplish this, I asked if I could speak to a supervisor instead. They claimed they, quote, don't transfer to supervisors, which is just wild.
What?
Must be nice to manage a customer service call center without ever having to speak to a customer. Anyway, they blame the inability to accommodate on policy and system limitations. I was told my only option was to cancel the trip altogether and purchase again, but it was $100 per person fee to cancel, which would effectively negate the $200 difference in price. Overall, I felt my request was reasonable, especially for a long-time repeat customer. What do you think? Was I out of line?
I don't think it's about being out of line. There's no line when it comes to large corporations figuring out ways to fuck you, hoping you will be in credit card debt that they get to live off of. So it's not about being out of line. And you are a customer of theirs. You have their credit card, you fly their airline, like you engage in business with them. And I think that I understand doing promos and stuff, but you bought that. And then to see 24 hours later that all of that stuff is cheaper makes you feel bad as the customer.
Yeah.
And it almost makes you feel like, oh, did you show me this so I would buy it knowing that tomorrow, you would do that. That's why a lot of, not that phone companies are good, but you'll get like, we treat you the same way as new customers. A lot of people are customers and you're like, oh, so my job is just to eat shit while you keep giving new people better deals. You're not out of line. I do think if you are a loyal user of something, it's not like you're getting something for free, but that's a fair thing to ask. And the only retribution you might have, also their policies are insane. Like it's $100 to cancel. I mean, everything usually is cancelable within 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Not being able to be transferred, it is such a weird corporate aggression. So you're like, so there's no way anyone who has the power to help me can help me. I would, if you really want to take this to the mat, go on LinkedIn, go online, find the CEO's email. Find someone's email. It's all out there.
Mm-hmm.
And write them a short email.
Mm-hmm.
People give way too much context. And if you really want to take your power back, I would use a credit card with someone else and be like, I am actually cutting up this credit card. I don't like feeling taken advantage of. I don't like feeling like the loyalty and dollars I've spent with you mean nothing. And considering you ran this promo and I did it, and then you ran a cheaper one within 24 hours, it makes me feel like this is a scam. If you don't get an answer back, which you won't, I would just cancel it. And then when you do cancel it, I would give them the opportunity to make it right. And it may not be the $200. It might be something else, but we are in a partnership here. And all I'm asking is that I don't feel fucked when I sign up with your company. And dollars spent equals loyalty, which should be worth something to them.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely not entitled to ask. I think you could also reach out to online customer support, see if you can talk to someone else. I think where you would have been entitled is if you were immediately like a mega bitch to this person on the phone. They I'm sure they're doing what they're being told to do. They were asked not to transfer you for whatever reason. It's not their fault, but you're well within your rights to follow up on this. I had an issue where I bought some nice headphones on Amazon. Price changed within 24 hours. I asked them to price match. They said, no, you can return it and rebuy it. So I returned it. I bought it from Best Buy, who will price match within 24 hours. So, you put your dollars where you want them to be.
I mean, the other side of this is like, you could all day, every day be getting different deals at different places.
Right.
Like, these things do fluctuate, and you may have just caught it on a day where this promo was always going to be tomorrow and you didn't look in the right place. So it's tough because I guess they can't do that with anyone. But if you feel that your dollar can be, your issue isn't even so much the money. It's that no one would listen to you and they didn't care. And it felt like a weird move on their part. So I don't know. I fly Delta a lot. And if I have an issue, they're able to be like, okay, here are some miles for an inconvenience because I've spent a lot of money with them.
Yeah.
I think corporations don't value brand loyalty. And the ones that do, it matters. I mean, I feel the same way if I have something that I love that I post, not to get anything for free, but just to be like, hey, I love this product. And when their social media does not respond, doesn't even send me like a heart back, it makes me think like, oh, you just don't care that anybody likes your product. And you certainly don't value me as a customer. There is an acknowledgement there. I never do anything asking for something for free, but it is nice to see someone be like, hey, thanks. Love you. Appreciate it.
Are you doing a secret thumbs up under where I can
I don't know
see?
why it keeps my hand is literally tucked into my pants.
It thinks
like,
you're doing a little thumbs up.
This is a podcast, Emily. So
okay, we can cut this. I just
now people at home don't know what you're talking about. No, I'm not doing it. I thought you were doing it. I thought you were agreeing with me.
No,
and that's why it kept doing a thumbs up. I was like, yeah, she's loving what I'm saying.
No, certain like FaceTime does this now. Or if you do a thumbs up or like a peace sign or like whatever, it'll pop up a thing. But it's for some reason keeps saying that you're really you're thumbs upping yourself as you talk about airlines, which honestly tracks.
This is what the world needs more of. Just baked in algorithmic thumbs up. So you think people are agreeing with you, but no one actually is, which actually it's actually called Instagram. It's actually called the internet.
I've noticed that, at least since I've had my babies, that I smell differently when I sweat. Maybe I'm just like getting older. I don't know, but I smell differently. And I don't love that. If I'm on set or if I'm on stage or if I'm doing anything like functioning in public and I don't want sweat stains or to be aware of my stinky, stinky pits, that's when I turn to Lumi Whole Body Deodorant because it keeps me smelling fresh all day. Lumi is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, under boobs, right wings, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, your feet. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. How? Well, unlike certain traditional deodorants that may try to mask odor with a fragrance, Lumi is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. If you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off the starter pack. Use code Iliza for 15% off your first purchase at lumideodorant.com. That's code Iliza at LUMEDEODORANT.com. The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling, and nothing feels better year-round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way, you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them. Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bollandbranch.com/Iliza. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Iliza for 25% off. Limited time only. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
All right. Hello, everyone. My husband and I have a friend named Davis, 38, who we've known for almost 10 years. When we saw him last week, he told us he had gotten married. He showed us pictures of the wedding and his beautiful bride. When we got home, my husband said he wanted us to get something nice for them to celebrate, but I'm at a loss. The relevant context. They are both Indian and met when he was in India at another wedding in February. They got married in July, and it will be another year before she can come to the U.S. to live. He currently lives with his parents, and she told him she would like to live with them another year after she moves here to help acclimate and help care for them. Davis is not one for material possessions, but loves experiences, especially theater and fun food-related events. Normally, I would opt for something for setting up house, but it will be at least 2 years before they move into a place of their own. Do I wait until I know more about her and what she likes, or do I do something based on what we know about him? Thanks so much.
Just give your husband $50, $100, and let him deal with it.
Yeah, I
Who
would
cares?
say normally if you really cared that it's like when she gets here, because it sounds like she's worried about acclimating, staying with the, take them out. Davis likes experiences, take them out for a really nice meal or a cool theater trip or something. But
Yeah.
do you need to get them? What do you feel like, Iliza, the etiquette on like, they weren't invited to the wedding. The guy's just like, oh, by the way, I got married. Do you then get that person a gift?
And you're very close with this person
Yeah.
and you weren't invited to the wedding.
So you've known each other for 10 years. She's not saying they're best friends, but
You're obviously not close. You weren't invited to the wedding.
yeah.
So you don't give a gift. If you really want to, give him a gift card or something. Doesn't sound like he's expecting it. Tell you what, when the wife gets here, if you guys go out, buy them dinner. But it doesn't sound like he's expecting it or you have to.
Yeah.
And if he likes experiences, send Davis skydiving. I don't know. But here's a massage you can get by yourself. I just think he's not asking for it. If you want to send a little gift card to be like, congratulations. It's okay if you weren't invited. It's not a malicious thing. I don't, he's always just send an Amazon gift card or something. You're thinking a lot about this woman that you will probably never meet. Yeah, it's feeling like you ran into him, but you're saying you've been friends forever and he's
They
like
got-
surprised I got married?
Yeah, they got together, friends of 10 years. So maybe it was just they catch up like a couple times a year and they got together and he's like, oh, when I was in India, because it sounded like he was in India for a while for a trip. So he went there.
Sounds
he met
like
a girl,
an arranged
he
marriage.
got married. I don't think
Yeah.
so, but
Okay, well, he met a girl, he got married, he didn't tell you about it, and he happened to, as a footnote, as the bill was coming, be like, by the way, I got married. So if you want to send him an Amazon gift card, like be like, for you and your bride, great, but doesn't sound like anyone's expecting it. Do it if it makes you feel good. Or wait 2 years and then take him out to dinner.
Yeah.
Or take her out. You
Yeah.
know, just, I would not think too much about this.
Mm-mm.
By the way, this is the benefit of being friends with men. You don't owe them anything, and they don't even know you owe them anything. You don't have to be nice. You can just be like, I don't want to go. I didn't do it. I don't care. And they're like, cool. Rams are playing. Gotta go.
Right. Yeah. Hey, Eliza and Emily. I was listening to old episodes of AIA on Shuffle at Work and heard the episode We'll Call Him Wingnut, where you read my question about a friendship breakup. In the episode, you gave great advice and even said, quote, this isn't going to matter in a year, so don't waste your time worrying. And I'm here to say to all your listeners, you were right. It's been 18 months since I sent in that question, and I actually forgot I'd asked for advice. That's how insignificant the problem has become since then. So cheers to getting over your bad friends from college. LOL. Thanks, Marley.
Love that, Marley.
I just love that you'd be listening and then hear your own question, be like, oh, shit, that was me. Like having totally moved on from that.
But yeah, I mean, look, these things matter when they matter. And when you're going through it, even if it's a breakup when you're 15 or changing jobs or bridesmaid stuff, like these things are very real. And this is not to diminish these experiences, but you are seeking the advice of the elder millennial. And so I am telling you, having been there, I don't remember that question specifically, but I remember bridesmaid drama, or not even so much drama, is just like feeling that everything was heightened. And I remember the way my friends made me feel in my 20s. And I remember dating when I was younger in my 30s. And so I don't expect everyone to take all the advice. It's not like I'm making you listen to it in the way that when women who are older in their 50s or 60s are like, oh, here's the advice. You're like, whatever. Like, there's no way you know.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. I appreciate the endorsement.
Yeah.
That your friends are trash and don't matter. And that's the new podcast name. Your friends are trash and nothing matters except everything.
Right. But still listen to this advice.
Sorry, I got distracted by how muscular my shoulder looked. Maybe the
They're
Olympics
looking
are
good.
affecting me. Thank you. It's the wiriest part of my body that they do not match my thighs.
The tank top, the chain, you're ready to rock.
This is my necklace. I wear it.
It looks good with the tank top.
Yeah. Look like I work out at the beach.
I'm not a gold jewelry person necessarily. I tend towards silver, but gold looks so good with a tan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're calling this a tan? It's just because I adjusted the warmth of the video camera.
You don't trust the word, but
I'm
also I was on with a coworker earlier who just had a trip and she had gold jewelry on and she's super tan. And I was like, God, the gold jewelry really like pops.
Gold jewelry with a tan is elite level status.
Yeah.
Gold on anyone looks great. Everyone. That's why people kill people for it historically. You know, Aztec Empire.
Following up with your friends are trash and don't matter, we have a question titled, Help Eliza 30th Birthday Drama.
Oh boy.
Dear Eliza, I'll get right to it. I'm a 29-year-old female married with 2 young children, 3 and 1.5. My husband and I are traveling from Seattle, where we live, to LA for my 30th birthday to meet family and friends for a backyard barbecue I'm throwing. We rented an Airbnb that we are sharing with my best friend and her husband, who are from our hometown in Oklahoma. It's a nice 3-bedroom home on Venice Beach with a great outdoor area, specifically chosen to entertain and provide a comfortable place for everyone to relax and enjoy a fun, long weekend. They're big ballin'. The Airbnb in Venice. Here's my issue.
It's gonna be so dirty. Okay, go on.
Our other best friend who lives in LA is asking to stay the night at this Airbnb for a girls' night / slumber party. For context, she does not have any kids and is recently engaged. I told her there are only 3 rooms at the Airbnb and one of those rooms is for my kids. She replied with, that's fine. I don't mind staying on the couch. Am I crazy thinking this is a ridiculous ask? We have lots of friends and family coming and no one else has asked to stay overnight. It's a daytime
And she
barbecue.
lives
She lives in
the
LA.
city.
Yeah. She's like,
And
I can't
wait,
get
here's
to
the
Venice.
question.
What?
So she wants to have a sleepover slumber party girls' night with you, but your husband is there.
And the other woman's
Right?
husband and your kids. Yeah. 2 couples and kids. So here, it's a daytime barbecue. I told her she could stay as long as she liked, but I didn't want people crashing on the couch when my kids will be waking up at 7 a.m. the next day. Not to mention, we will also be visiting family and other people on this trip, and I don't have time for people crashing. I tried to set a boundary, but she keeps pushing and now seems upset. For more context, she is still mad that my friend who will be staying with me and I went to see Beyonce together in Kansas City before I moved to Seattle last October. She was invited to come, but didn't want to give up her floor seats at Dallas for your kid's schedule. I couldn't attend the Dallas show because I was breastfeeding at the time. Sorry, this is long, but I feel like that's important info. Thank you for your help. Anonymous. So this is the woman who would be like, who hates that you have children, the opposite end of the spectrum that from the fight me.
Yeah, it's not. I don't really understand the Beyonce thing.
So
she had tickets.
She had floor seats to see Beyonce in Dallas. And our question asker was like, I can't go to that show. I'm breastfeeding.
Right.
So our question asker and someone else booked tickets for another show and we're like, do you want to come to that show? And she's like, no.
Right. She's like, no, I want to go to mine. Right. Yeah. It'd be one thing if you promised her you were going to go and then you were like, oh, I don't feel like it.
Right.
People who don't have kids have 2 options. You can either give it up to God and be like, you've got kids, whatever works for you. Or you can be a stick in the mud like this woman is being and not be flexible at all. And this is why women who have kids versus women who don't get kids get pit against each other. Because if you don't have kids, it is actually very hard to wrap your brain around. And I'm not saying this to dismiss you. It's really impossible to wrap your brain around how genuinely all-consuming, spiritually, physically, and energetically that is.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe that I want to race home just so I can be in the house while my daughter is sleeping, even if someone is there with her. You are at very different places in your life. She's not wrong that she doesn't have kids. You're not right because you do. But this is adding an unnecessary bullshit layer of stress coming from someone who should be the least stressful about it because she lives in the city and she can take an Uber. So she is missing you. She's selfishly wanting time with you. You have to, she's like pushing back, just flat out be like, you cannot sleep on the couch. And like, this is what we're doing. It's too much coming in and out. I hope you get it. I just don't want to be stressed. And if she pushes, like, you're going to have to be okay with being like, then I don't know what to tell you. And it's going to sound shitty. What I would guarantee is happening is this is all via text message. So the tone is misconstrued. Give her a call. Call her. FaceTime her and be like, hey, I just want a heads up. Be like, I'm planning all this birthday stuff. And I want you to know, like, say this to her. Be like, I just want you to know how excited I am to see you. And I love the idea of the birthday crash or whatever, but it's just going to be too much. And I think it'll end up being stressful for me. So I want to make sure that that we get it. I just want to make sure you understand that.
An important component of this is she's like, I'll come to the barbecue, but can I stay over and we can do a girls' night? She's saying, oh, the kids will go to sleep. I'll finally get time with her alone. She lives in LA. You're visiting. I think if you could carve out a lunch with her without your husband and kids, it would be massively appreciated by her. She's just trying to get time with you without the kids the way that it was.
How about, can we meet for a coffee in the morning? Can we go get our nails done?
Yeah.
Just something that takes you out of the house, which you deserve also because it's your birthday.
Yeah.
She's not understanding. This isn't like the kids go to sleep, 100% stay asleep, and you and I get to talk. Like, everybody's going to be tired. Your husband's going to go to sleep. You may stay up talking for like 30 minutes, but like Emily said, that's time you could spend. That 30 minutes can be somewhere else. Hey, I need to pick up stuff for this party. Will you show me the best grocery store? Give her a little bit. And if she still wants to sleep over, be like, I can't do that. And no equivocating, no like, but I'm excited. Just say that.
Yeah.
But I would pick up the phone because I know you haven't spoken to her. I would pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Call her, FaceTime her, and be like, hey, I was just wondering, like, what are you thinking? And she'll be like, I would sleep over. Be like, you can't sleep over. Just say it. Be like, you can't sleep over. It's too stressful for me. But I was hoping you and I could have some one-on-one time.
Yes.
Nails, groceries, shop, whatever. Lining your house with barbed wire to make sure none of the crazy people who live down at Venice Beach
get in.
Barbed wire around your rental car to make sure no homeless people break in and fuck in it and leave a bunch of Cheeto dust everywhere. It happened to someone I know. Okay.
What movie did I just watch where the same homeless people kept breaking in, unhoused people kept breaking into a car and having sex in it? It was a comedy, and I don't remember what comedy. Oh, well. Very important.
Just watching ring camera footage from someone's house. in LA.
All right, we've got a long one, but drama. So let's get into it. Hey, Liza and beloved Pod Squad. I would love to fangirl forever, but I have a time-sensitive question, and I cannot think of anyone better to ask an etiquette question. So it's a quick question, but there's some context. Oh, it's not quick, but I appreciate it. I had a baby in 2022 and have built an incredible circle of mom friends since I'm the first of my friends to have a baby. Our big group has a book club, 18 strong now, which I know sounds intense, but it's been incredible until recently. That's actually insane. I don't know. Do you know 18 people you could get to join something with you, Iliza? I don't know.
I don't know 18 people.
Right. We started out as a group of 10 or 12 for book club about a year and a half ago, but it's expanded, which is great. And I always want to be a you can sit with us girl. That being said, the whole group has been awesome, but there's a recent joiner and her and I just don't gel, which is fine. Well, was fine until a smaller group of us did a pottery class. During this class, she announced that she was a dietitian and started lecturing another in the group about her husband's diet. Again, fine. The other woman was a willing participant, it seemed, so whatever. Then the dietitian got asked what the difference between a dietitian and nutritionist is. The dietitian made a snide laugh and started talking about how nutritionists are uneducated, unregulated, dangerous, and are nothing like dietitians and should not be trusted. Well, not only is that categorically untrue because nutritionists where we live are regulated by regulating bodies, but dietitians are regulated by the government specifically. So not only is that untrue, but guess who's a nutritionist in that room? A highly educated nutritionist who has a license with the regulating body and teaches comprehensive nutrition courses at college. Yes, me.
Whoa. I didn't see it coming. I was like, it's going to be my friend Beth. Oh, boy.
Right. I was so floored by this reaction since she had a space to give some insight. And I think it's just plain tacky to talk down another profession to legitimize your own. And I've always felt this way because my nutritionist colleagues regularly talk down dietitians as uneducated because they only hand out pamphlets pre-written by the government to push the government diet guides, which are not good. I don't ascribe to that because it's untrue. And again, tacky to talk like that when our goals are the same.
You got to edit these.
Anyway. I want all this nutritionist info. I just think that this war between nutritionists and dietitians is very funny.
You both have versions of you that are like educated, curriculum-based people. And then there's the life coach version, MLM scammy side. So, all right, keep going. Because this woman, by the way, the dietitian lady sounds like a life coach. It's sounding culty to me already. Yeah. Go on.
She didn't know I was a nutritionist either since this was the second time we'd ever been in a room together. Sure. So it's not a personal attack and I didn't take it that way, but I was still shocked and I had a hard time figuring out anything to say. It's near the end of the evening and everyone else seemed to catch the vibe that she was being gross, change the subject, start kind of ignoring her. By the time I came out of my shock, like 30 seconds, the conversation vibe had shifted, so I let it go. My best friend who's in the book club didn't come to pottery class, so she didn't see it go down. I hate to gossip.
What?
It doesn't make me feel
yes,
good.
it does.
And so I wanted to mention it to her. I know, it makes me feel so good. I want to mention it to her.
As a registered nutritionist, you should know that this is an important component of a healthy diet.
I didn't want to bash another.
Is shade and tea. Hot tea is essential to a female diet.
And so I wanted to mention it to her, but didn't want to bash another lady and change my friend's opinion of someone we basically don't know. My friend ended up saying something to the effect of, I love that book club is growing, but I don't know everyone fits now. So I asked what she meant. And she mirrored my sentiment about inclusion, but said she didn't like a new joiner specifically and pointed out the dietitian not knowing the pottery situation. So I filled her in. She agreed it was gross and tacky and talked about how she hadn't liked how the dietitian had monopolized conversations at the last club meeting. Said she felt she was generally condescending. The next time we saw the dietitian, my friend and I were taking the kids to a music class. A third member of the book club joined us, as we had mentioned it in the club, and then the dietitian showed up. We had already found spots together, and the dietitian was late and couldn't sit with us. My friend, God love her, straight up ignored this woman. Our third friend followed her lead, and I smiled at the dietitian when she arrived, but made no attempt to engage her. The next time we see a dietitian is a book club, and someone mentions me being a nutritionist. The dietitian looked over at me and asked, sorry, what is it you do for work? So I said, I'm a nutritionist. I teach at blank college and work in medical clinics as well as private practice. I held neutral eye contact with her as she went red and got flustered and got up to get a drink or snack. I didn't want to put this woman on blast from the group, but I wanted to address the situation.
Should she be snacking as a dietitian?
Maybe she was going to drink.
In front of everyone.
Until I told her, I wanted to address the situation and tell her no hard feelings, but I can help you untangle some of the untrue things you said so you have better information in the future. I tried to catch her aside a few times, and she would actively get up and move to a seat further away from me or spin on her heels and run.
Yeah.
Fine, I'm moving on. I can be at club meetings with her, group stuff. I don't have to be friends with her. Easy. The problem is...
You already won.
Well, the problem is the next book club meeting is at her house. I don't like her. My best friend won't be going as she's away that week, but I've been part of the group since the beginning. There's not a single meeting I missed. I genuinely love my group and the time we spend together, but I feel like I can't go to this woman's house because I don't like her. I don't know why, but I feel like that's backhanded or weird, or I don't know. I can't think of any other time I would go into someone's space that I don't like. So it feels like the wrong thing to do, but I also don't want to miss this. Iliza, you're the only one with enough social grace and understanding of etiquette to tell me, am I allowed to go to this woman's house? There's no use hiding my name. There's so much information that anyone who knows would know.
Everyone's going to know.
All my love.
It's me.
Taylor.
Yes. Okay, so let's break this down. You seem like, I hate the word classy because that's a trashy word, but you do seem like you have class.
Like genuinely.
And I can really respect you holding your tongue. I mean, you've won. This woman is embarrassed. There's two questions here. One, are you going to let this person does she have kids? It doesn't sound like she does. It sounds
like she brought the kids to a kid music class, but maybe she just showed up at the music class.
Or maybe she was just there. I don't know. The question is, are you going to let this woman stand in the way of the thing that you enjoy? She's probably nervous about you coming to her house. So this is a chance to just show up and treat her like the person that she is, which is a person who's beneath you, a person who's a little embarrassed. You will look so graceful and magnanimous when you show up. Hey, I brought this. Like, you don't sweat her. She is a scam artist. She's uninformed. She's scared of you. You have the upper hand.
Yeah.
So I weirdly think, like, spiritually, for you not to go would mean that you're admitting that this woman means something to you, which it really doesn't sound like she does. You're annoyed because this was this like utopian friend group you had, and this like weirdo showed up who, if you really think about it, was probably just trying to like, not so much curry favor, but just like get in with the group and position herself as something. And she's embarrassed. She's embarrassed. The other side of it is, I've definitely been invited to things and I'm like, I can't take those tickets. I can't go with that. I don't respect this person. This is a person I've openly talked shit about. I don't like. So I don't want to eat their food, sit in their house and be two-faced about it. However, you're not really being two-faced about it. She was offensive, ignorant, and wrong. You said nothing and did nothing. And the truth is, to your point, you don't really know her. So what you could do is go, you're just sitting in a chair, eating a snack brought by someone else. And this could be the final like litmus test. If she really irks you, then in the future, you know to even avoid her more. But I wonder, this might be a great like recon mission to see. Like maybe you get there, the pictures are all work she's done with the blind and Greenpeace, and her whole house is made of recycled cans. You know, I think as women, we are, and I'm so guilty of this, very quick to, and I'm not saying you did this, totally vilify another woman as like a crazy lunatic. And then like just under that one interaction, it's like, oh, a person. Like I was walking Tian Food today and she ran off down the street. So I just walked her down the street without a leash. It's a very long country road. There's no one there. But I saw someone walking with their dog on a leash. There's no signs. You can't, it's a public street. You can do whatever you want. And I was like, oh God, that person with their dog on a leash. And then Tianfu bent over to poop, but she didn't. But from afar, it looks like she just took a dump and I didn't pick it up. I'm like, that person's probably thinking the same thing I would think about me, which is, oh my God, look at that entitled, horrible person. Yeah. So I'm just saying it's easy when you're far away to be like, oh, obviously this person's evil. She just sounds ignorant. Only you can decide if you want to go, but it isn't as if you have actively done things to discredit her and be awful and you're going anyway.
Yeah, I think another important element of this is that changes my advice is that you've never missed a single meeting. So yeah, you're saying you don't want to disrespect her by going to her house when you don't like her. But if everybody else knows you've never missed a meeting and you skip this one, that also is disrespecting her and sending a message. I think the message sent by going to her home is less severe than the message sent by skipping this one single thing.
It's like like it would be sending a message by omission. Like that would speak louder.
Yeah.
You get there. If she's insufferable, you can always leave. Like you do not have to do anything. It truly doesn't matter. I say you go because you have held your head so high, and she will either confirm all the awful things you think, or you'll see like, oh, she's just trying. She wanted to make friends and she's a little misguided, but she was willing to listen. But do not give her anything. You don't have to explain anything. You just be cordial.
Yeah.
I brought this. Where can I put it? You're there for the book and your friends. She will work herself out. She will either stop going. It's impressive that she's doing that, but she's probably shaking in her boots that you're coming.
Yeah.
Give her a reason to like
that
you.
Sick feeling of realizing somebody heard the shit you talked about them. Like she talked it to your face and didn't even know. Oh, it makes me like she feels definitely embarrassed at minimum.
Yeah, it's when you send an email and you're like, oh God, did I take this person off?
Oh
my God. Oh my God.
It makes me feel sick. Okay.
Turns out we're human.
Hi, Iliza, Emily, and the rest of the gang. Special shout out to Hot Scotty and hopes the jingle will be played. My fave.
Hot Scotty number one, Hot Scotty. Hot Scotty number two, Hot Scotty.
My question. I received a wedding invitation to an old coworker's wedding. We worked together 2 years ago for about 8 months. And since then, I've talked off and on a bit through social media. We share a mutual hobby of horseback riding, so that's normally our topic of convo. However, have never met up to hang out with each other. I haven't been to her house, etc. And when she told me she was sending me the invite, she had to ask me for my address. She said she wanted to invite me since I've always been a good friend through the years. I've been debating going. I won't know anyone there. And like I said, we never hang out. I don't know her super well. Her wedding is also at 10:30 a.m. on a Sunday, which I find odd. LOL. Iliza, help.
Oh, she did it for the gift.
Or thinks you're good friends
or
and has an
friend.
extra spot. Somebody else canceled. She's like, oh, I would like to see this face at my wedding.
Okay. So that's that's the question.
Do you want to go?
Do you want to see her face? Yeah. Do you want to go? That's it.
Yeah.
It will not have mattered one way or the other. You were invited, so you kind of have to send a gift. Do you want to go?
Yeah.
I think you should go. I always think watching people is fun. It's not a big deal. I'm sure you have a towel you can put on and some flip-flops. Do you want to go?
Yeah.
Do you want to go? Do you want to be friends with this person? You probably won't be friends with them beyond this wedding. Do you want to go?
Yeah.
Do you want to go eat bagels and lox at 10:30 on a Sunday?
I do.
Breakfast, wedding.
I want that.
But can you bring a +1? No. Would you be okay going along? I can't answer that for you.
Fair.
And it's a friendship. If it's a friendship you don't care about, you shouldn't go.
Yeah. This is really, there's no right answer here. You can do either and be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Well within your rights.
If you lived in another state, I'd be like, great, don't go.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like it's literally down the street and it's an easy lift and you're already wearing the heels. So it's, do you want to go?
Say you'll be busy at church.
Yeah, you don't even have to offer an excuse.
No, you don't.
Can't, but here's $25 to a TCBY.
All right, top of the cob.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, top of the cob.
My top of the cob is the state of Oregon. I, like many people, had only ever been to Portland, which is cool. But I asked my agent, because I was up in Seattle, I was like, I'd like to see Eugene and I'd like to see Bend. I've heard about these places. And the audience in Bend, Oregon was so incredible. It like shook me. It was my first official show of my tour. And I did not know what to expect in this sort of tertiary market of a city I've never played before. I will never forget how incredible they were. But every single person I met in Oregon, whether it was in passing, at a small business, at a popcorn store in Bend, friend of friend, whatever, everybody was nice. And I'm really impressed by it. And I'm sure you don't want me to say that because you don't want people to move there. It's a nice blend of conservative and liberal, and it's beautiful there. The people are healthy. My top of the cob is Eugene and Bend. So we'll just call it the whole state of Oregon. Absolutely beautiful. We drove through a few national forests, and even though they've been devastated by wildfires, which was horrible to see, it was still beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my, I guess, and the secondary part of that top of the cob is we stopped at a tiny coffee shop on the way from Eugene to Bend. I saw a little flag that said coffee off the highway. I was like, turn here. I bet there's something. And it was this little shack. run by this woman named Jessup's Java, and she's a retired military vet, did 2 tours of Iraq, was injured, and her whole community was burned in this holiday fire, which happened a few years ago. And she's just there as like a volunteer firefighter, paramedic, like doing the most for her community. And so they don't have an Instagram, which they totally should, Jess. But Jessup's Java on Facebook, give them a follow. And it was nice to, while that is awful what she's going through, I always love meeting people that are made of that type of stuff. Remind you that there are good people in this world who care about each other. So shout out to her.
Yeah. All right, fan top of the cob. Hi, AIA gang. My top of the cob, I got to make history in my hometown of Nashville, Tennessee by helping paint the state of Tennessee's very first rainbow crosswalk. State's very first, but then we have a bottom.
Okay.
My bottom, which is just downright horrible, said crosswalk got defiled just days after it was painted by neo-Nazis. The city and law enforcement did nothing, but let's come back around to top. The LGBTQIA plus community came back together and repainted it. Mike from Nashville, Tennessee.
I got an idea, Mike. Why don't you take the money you would have spent on that new paint and hire a guard, a crossing guard, and hire a security guard? I was going to make a joke like, but we painted it with swastikas. That's awful.
Yeah.
That's so fucking horrible. And when you see hate like that, especially over something that you care about, it makes you feel nauseous. So I'm sorry. People are fucking Nazis are such losers. Actually, they are literally losers. You guys really did lose World War II. So whatever bullshit iteration of Nazi ideology you're like thriving for, just know that you'd be happier on the other side. That's awful.
My top of the cob is when you get a scam email or text or whatever, and you immediately realize it's scam, and you're like, haha, I'm not falling for this idiot. I got like a job offer, like, oh, we want you to work for WhatsApp or something in this thing. And I'm looking at it, and it's like, yeah, just set an interview with us. You click it, and it's like, oh, just log into your Facebook. And I was like, this isn't a Facebook approved login. I'm not doing it. Bye. Like, just to realize and be like, okay, I can disregard this email. I'm very pleased.
What job do you have to log into your Facebook for unless you work at Facebook?
They're saying they use Meta to set their interviews, and I'm just like,
lame.
I'm not doing it.
No. Just with a small credit card fee, and you'll be good to go. My bottom of the cob, long story boring, we have T-Mobile because we used to have Sprint. And if you remember, years and years ago, I went to buy a new phone at Sprint. They said, okay, we'll transfer your info over. It'll be done by closing time. We came back at closing time. Not only was it not, but they said I had to leave the store and I couldn't leave my phone there. And then that worker who was horrible and lied went on to harass me online when I tried to make a complaint to Sprint because they had wrecked my phone. Fast forward, it becomes T-Mobile. T-Mobile, then when I buy another new phone years later, cuts off my service, which is horrible when you're pregnant and traveling. You can't not have a phone. So they bump us up to a security level, meaning nobody can have access to my info, my phone number at the store because of their past employee. My husband went to go get a new phone this week because his battery exploded.
Oh, it became a spicy pillow as a subreddit and a thing where
spicy pillow
blows up.
And it took 5 days to get that phone turned on because every time we attempted, it sent a message saying that someone was trying to like hack into the phone.
Right.
And so you have to email a special person who was not available most of the time. And every time they'd be like, great, it should work now. And it wouldn't. 5 days of this quote unquote VIP service. Just reminding all of us, we are nothing but floating cogs in a machine designed to do nothing but waste your time and charge you for it. Also, they don't answer their DMs. Okay. And my bottom of the cob was that it stressed me out too. Turns out, as much as I don't like when my husband's on his phone, I need him to have his phone.
Yeah.
I missed him being on his phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fan bottom. Hi, Liza and Emily. My bottom of the cob is getting dozens of emails about having to log into existing portals or creating new portals at doctor's offices or my daughter's school and never being able to keep track of all the usernames and passwords. And then needing to either create a new password or use some verification system involving a code. And the worst is when I try to figure all of this out on my phone, in bed, usually bleary-eyed at 6 a.m. instead of just getting my laptop and focusing on it the proper way. I'm too tired. By the way, I just saw your stand-up about Little Gary. Little Gary has been my dog's nickname for about 3 years. He's a rescue dog named Elmo, but I call him Little Gary far more. I included a picture of him. Thank you for all you do.
It's an adorable dog. I love little Gary, just like we called Tianfu, Richard Machine, and Skinneth and Patat. Nothing to do with the names. The endless creating of emails. And then when you do it, then they're like, oh, there was a security breach. Now that one password you use is gone. It's awful.
What about when you go to reset it's like your password's not right. Your password's not right. So you go, okay, I'm resetting it. Then you go to reset it and you type in a new password and it goes, you can't use your previously used password. I thought you said it wasn't right.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Not only that, I hate when they're like, we're sending you a code and it doesn't show up. And you're like, okay.
It might be in spam.
So just here.
You're refreshing spam. It's not there. Ugh.
It's not. You didn't send it. Oh, sorry. Well, our team is off today for grilled cheese sandwiches. Emily?
My bottom of the cob is, why is it so embarrassing to like hit your head on something? You knock your head on like a door or a cabinet.
Dumb
it's so
and it hurts.
When I was getting set up for this podcast, I knocked my head on my mic, and you just feel this immediate like humiliation is too strong of a word, but there is something so embarrassing for someone to see you hit your head on something.
Because it's like, duh, and it hurts. And then in real time, you have to like act like it's cool, but also
I'm fine.
You're in pain.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'll walk it off. Yeah. That's a good bottom. That's a nice non-cat related bottom. You guys, I'm going to be at live on the East Coast. Keep telling me to come to the East Coast in Hanover, Maryland at the casino there Friday, the 16th of August. And then I'm coming to you, AC, Atlantic City. So if you live in that tri-state area, you want to squeeze those last few droplets out of summer, which is probably going to be a perennial summer because of global warming, come on down to Ovation Hall at the Ocean Resort and Casino in Atlantic City. It's a really beautiful building, and I'm going to be there. So come on down. And that's what I got. We got new merch. I'm very excited about it. And please, if you're enjoying this podcast, share it with your friends. Like and subscribe. And we are going to start taking confessions. We did it on the last episode. We love them. We won't do them every time. But if you've got a hot and juicy confession, maybe about a shart or
not all sharks. We don't just want shark talk.
We don't want shark talk. Shark Tank.
Sharks.
I have an idea. Send those in. But we're loving the pod, and we're going to start doing more live recordings. And remember, we don't just want sharks.
MSC Cruises Black Friday preview sale is here. For a limited time, book now with up to 35% off cruises, drinks and Wi-Fi included, plus up to $400 onboard credit. Sail to the turquoise waters of the Bahamas with stops at Ocean Key, MSC's private island marine reserve, or experience the beauty of the Caribbean and more destinations. MSC Cruises, for a greater beauty. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
Between bad calls and intense rivalries, there's enough to stress about on game day. Keep your mind on the field and off your body odor with Dove Men Plus Care Whole Body Deodorant. Available at Walmart. Dove Men Whole Body Deo provides all-day odor protection from your pits, privates to feed. From pregame analysis to halftime insights to unexpected overtimes, Dove Men Whole Body Deo gives you confidence that lasts all day. Pick it up at your local Walmart.